No.
But you can
We
take
have
the
all the.
arrows.
We already have 62 arrows. No, hold on. I need to also remember the one that we just fired at the dog. So we have 61 arrows left.
Yeah, okay, maybe that would be a bit unnecessary then. Shortly before sunset, you emerge from the trees at a place where three trails meet. A wooden signpost propped against a boulder indicates three directions, destinations, and distances. Chot, 250 miles north. Holona, 50 miles west. Tensia, 20 miles south. You are anxious to leave hostile Eldonoran territory as soon as possible, and after checking your map, you set off to the south towards the Slovian border town of Tensia. During your ride, you must eat, but your grand hunt mastery, so you
You
pluck a
grab a
bird out of
squirrel
his.
from a tree.
Yeah, you do that. It is near midnight when you arrive at a ridge which commands a view of the mighty river Storm. Moonlight pours molten silver over the rushing water, illuminating a ford where a crossing can be made over this unusually deep and fast-flowing river. To the far horizon stretch the plains of Slovia, peaceful and inviting. You long to be on the other side, but you suspect that crossing here, despite the fort, will not be an easy task. Heavily fortified border posts stand at the approaches to the fort, and many keen-eyed sentries are scanning the surrounding countryside on both sides of the river. Veldanorans are watching for deserters attempting to flee to the safety of Slovia, a neutral territory in the war against Palmyrian. The Slovians keep watch for signs of an Eldanoran attack. It would not be the first time an invasion by the hostile neighbor had come this way. Patiently you observe the fort for more than an hour, trying to determine the optimum time to make your move, but then suddenly the choice is taken out of your hands. Middle of distance you see an Eldanoran patrol riding towards the bridge. Unless you abandon the ridge at once, they'll be sure to see you and raise an alarm. Taking your courage in both hands, you spur your horse to the gallop and rush headlong down the rocky slope that leads directly to the fort.
I wonder how courage actually looks like then.
It's probably really shiny. You may roll a die and you may add 3 for having a semblance and 2 for having hunt mastery.
Okay.
So 5 in total.
5 in total. That's 13 then.
The speed and audacity of your crossing, coupled with your camouflage skills, enable you to reach the Slovian side without being detected by the guards on either side of the river. As soon as your horse hooves touch Slovian soil, you spur him onwards and disappear swiftly into the welcoming darkness of the plains beyond. After the dangers of Eldanora, the plains of peaceful Slovia seems like a tranquil paradise. The grasslands are rich and fertile, and an abundance of game keeps you well fed during the 5 days it takes you to ride north to the walled city of Tekaro. Here, at an inn close by the city's cathedral, where, years ago, you discovered one of the lore stones of Nyxator during your quest for kind knowledge, you spend a fortunate evening in the company of a band of Salonese mercenaries. Aided by your high skills, you fleece them of 30 gold crowns while playing cards, and with your gain you
Wow!
purchase a fresh horse for your continuous journey home.
So no need to add the money, just...
Well, actually, you have after the new horse and the night's lodging, you have 5 gold crowns left over. But since you have no room, I'm assuming you just pay extra to the inn, like a tip.
Or maybe just give it to a beggar or something like that.
Something like that. Early the following day, you leave Tekaro and set out on the highway bound for Taido. You plan to reach Cassion by means of the North Pass through the Slovarian range, but during your second day on the road, you are forced to revise your plans drastically. During a chance meeting at a wayside inn with a merchant who has journeyed from Cassion, you learn that an avalanche has blocked the North Pass, and travel by that route is now impossible. It will be several months before the pass is cleared and the mountain road rebuilt. You resolve instead to reach Cassion by way of Beretta, the ancient city of crossed swords, and the following day you resume your ride north. During your ride, you stop to assist a farmer whose cart has shed a wheel. In return for your help, he offers the service of his brother, who operates a raft ferry across the river Quark. Gladly, the brother transports you and your horse across the river to Saloni, where you enter the great forest by way of a timberland trail. After a full day's ride alongside this lonely track, you find yourself approaching the outskirts of a town called Elio. During your long day's ride through the forest of Saloni, you eat something.
Ooh, worm!
Your first spattering of rain and dampening in your shoulder as you approach the forest town's solitary inn. The smell and soft noise of horses waft from an adjoining stable, and the flickering orange light of an open fire can be seen shimmering through the bull's-eye glass of the insulated windows. You halt outside the main door and stop to read a weather-faded board that is fixed to the wall. The Towering Pine Inn. Room and stabling, 2 gold crowns per night. Do I have enough money for that?
I think we have, and
Your internet is happy of that revelation.
yeah, I apologize. Apparently the internet wants to salute me.
You dismount and toss your horse's reins to a sniffing stable boy before entering the dry and welcome warmth of the inn. The innkeeper is a burly, ginger-bearded man with an incongruous lisp who attends to his small group of patrons with an air of bored indifference. You hand him 2 gold crowns. In return, you receive a small draughty room over stable. You sleep well, recover 3 endurance points, and wake at dawn. The innkeeper offers you breakfast, but the unsavory plate of stale cheese and bacon rind they reduce from you under the tap room counter does little to excite your appetite. Decline his offer, collect your horse, and set off on the trail which heads east out of Elio. So, yeah. You remember to deduct the 2 gold crowns, right?
Yep.
Okay. For 2 days you follow this trail through the great forest of Saloni. During your ride, it strikes you that the weather seems to be reflecting the nature of the people who dwell in this region. Cold and inhospitable. They do not take kindly to strangers in these parts, especially those riding alone. On the morning of the 3rd day, you reach a small village called Hopforst, which stands at the edge of the great forest. To the west of the village you can now see the snow-capped mountains peaks of the Cenas, and to the north stretches an open expanse of rough grassland dotted with thickets of larch and pine. As dusk is drawing its curtains of shadow over the land, you see in the distance the decaying walls of a derelict city. A broken sign by the roadside says that this place is called Armory, yet the nearest track which branches off the road and avoids the city gate tells you that travelers on this road no longer visits here. It has begun to rain again, and you are quietly dreading having to spend another night out in the open. Tempted by the promise of shelter, you approach Armory and enter the city by a gate that hangs haphazardly from its hinges.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Roark from Armory?
At close quarters, the city of Armory gives off an odor of disease and decay. Its flagstone streets are cracked and broken open by plants, the roofs of its once fine houses have long since caved in, and every surface is damp and mildewed. It is also completely deserted. Even the rats have left.
Yeah, that city is down on its luck, just saying.
You seek shelter in one of the few buildings with the roof still intact. The furnishing that you discover here are made of the finest Duranese oak and Salonese leather, but none withstand your weight. Everything has rotted and falls to shreds at a touch. You are clearing debris from the floor to make a place to sleep when suddenly you hear hoofbeats in the street outside. You rush to the open door and see, to your shocked surprise, a ghostly rider astride a black horse come galloping down the narrow avenue. Tongues of red flame shoot from the horse's nostrils and leave in its wake a trail of green mist.
A ghost rider, if you will.
Indeed. Don't look him in the eyes. Huh. Picture time. So yeah, this guy's making a racket.
Huh.
Da 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 da.
Well, I'd say that this is so much a Ghost Rider as a riding ghost. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
he's a living person riding ghosts. So that would be an awesome profession to have.
To be quite honest, I have no idea what is scariest, the rider or the horse itself.
His facial expression seems to say somebody just kicked me in the crotch.
Well, granted, if you haven't ridden for a long time, then you can get very sore in certain areas.
I know, I've ridden mountain bikes in rough terrain. God, my, if you will, undercarriage got kind of sore after that.
Well, I was talking about the ass, but yeah, okay.
Well, yeah.
Regardless, what are we to do with this spectral rider?
A cold lance of fear stabs your heart the moment you see the face of the ghostly rider. You recognize it immediately to be... Oh god, no.
What?
Hey, I'm calling it now! Roar!
To be Roark, the highborn lordling of Armory who choose to follow the ways of evil.
Fucking called it! Ha ha!
Well, he's technically a little dead-ish, but we can always try and send him back in his grave, I suppose.
So somehow this guy managed to die since the last time you've seen him, and that didn't stop him from being a complete ass and ruining everything. Roark was once a powerful disciple of the demon lord Tagazin and a secret practitioner of the foul arts of the Cena druids, but he has long since perished in the flesh. Yet his evil spirit lives on, tortured and restless, doomed to ride the deserted streets of his shattered city. As the ghastly spectre of Roark comes rushing towards you on his hellish steed, his mouth opens and a hideous shriek fills the air. You feel a pressure rapidly building in your head, an agonizing force that threatens to tear your skull apart. Do you wish to use Kai Screen?
So he's a
Yeah.
banshee? Or is he a Nazgul?
I don't know. Maybe a mix.
You
A
erect,
banshee's ghoul.
I don't know. You erect a psychic shield to protect your
Or a
mind.
Nazi.
Are you done butchering fantasy language?
Oh my god, he's a Nazi!
Well,
Let's carry on.
yeah. You erect a psychic shield to protect your mind from Roark's assault, and you successfully deflect his attack. But as his ghastly apparition gallops past, it stirs in its wake a whirling maelstrom that is filled with rocks, broken glass, and other city debris. This whirlwind assoils you physically and knocks you to the ground. You're now fighting Ghost of Roark.
Well, at least we might be able to put him in his place. That being this world's equivalent of hell. So, he immune to anything?
No.
Good. Sword, check.
So, yeah. Okay, you're fighting Roark. We've been looking forward to this for a long time, haven't we?
Yes. Even here, roll the die.
You know, just to see how hard we're allowed to kick his ass.
Yep.
Well, let's start by kicking it 8 yards away.
Alright. So the Howling Spectre of Roark rushes towards you, all fearsome and boogabooish, and then you kick him in the face and launch him off his horse.
I get the feeling any ghost is sort of going to go, you can actually touch me, oh god, this is horrible!
Yeah, Kai's psychic powers enables you to interact with the less than physical. But yeah, the Lordling of Armory steadily rises, draws a flaming ghostly sword, and howling attacks you again while various debris flies at you.
The only bad thing here is that I do not think he can actually feel physical pain.
Give me a roll die.
2.
Right. He slashes forward, and the blade passes through you with an uncomfortable feeling of cold pain, as is in the habit of ghosts. You lose 3 endurance points. You in turn smash him in the ghostly head with the flat side of your sword and send the guy flying back.
Have a sword like a backhand. And then uttering the sentence, bitch, please.
A sword in the face a day keeps the doctor away.
I can imagine. Roll the die again.
On the other hand, it does tend to attract the. Yeah, I had a good joke here, but now I forgot what the name is. It's the Undertaker, but it does tend to attract the Undertaker.
Fair enough. 7.
Right. The guy rushes up towards you, howling in rage, and tries to slash you, but you evade. Though you do not manage to see a rock flying out from outside your peripheral vision, and it hits you at the side of your head. You lose 1 endurance point. Then you hit the guy hard. Really hard. Like, it's brutal. A real slobber knocker. Would have sent him flying through a wall. Or, well, actually, it does send him flying through a wall, literally. Being a ghost and all.
Okay, this is actually turning out to be fun.
Alright. Roll the die again.
4.
Right. The guy suddenly launches out of a different wall, surprising you and stabbing you for 2 points of damage. Then you, beep, 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 with his head.
In other words,
You can imagine yourself what kinds of brutal actions were taken against this guy. But suffice to say, it's pretty overkill.
I get the feeling people out there are beginning to gather their popcorn.